Welcome to the playoffs. Charger 295 on hand for the conference semifinals of the DSFL 4. Following a wild end to the regular season, these standings are the result of Week 10, where all 7 games had playoff implications. And out of the NFC, the right side of the bracket, the 3-seeded Chicago Bears, they visit the 2-seeded San Francisco 49ers in a battle of 2 teams playing their best football down the stretch of the season. Bears started 1-3. The 49ers started 0-3 to the DSFL 4 season. Mike Wilson, the veteran from Washington State, begins the game with a 17-yard completion on 3rd down and 7. But the 49ers, since that throw, they were just 1 for 9 on 3rd down for the game. Chicago on 3rd down was a paltry 0 for 7. Bears begin this drive with their own 25, and it appeared they had a 75-yard touchdown run by Walter Payton, but Dennis McKinnon on a downfield block committed a hold for Chicago, and thus the Bears were backed up to their own end. And on 3rd and 10, McMahon throws wide and incomplete. He struggled in the ball game, completing just 7 of 19 throws. In the second quarter, San Francisco fullback Tom Rathman, the youngster from Nebraska, gains 11 on his only carry of the game. First down, San Francisco. Then Roger Craig would have an incredible performance today, leading the way for a San Francisco scoring drive. This season, the 49er running back, 3rd in the league in rushing, averaging nearly 6 yards a run this season with 5 touchdowns, leads the way for San Francisco in the red zone. But then Montana is sacked by Steve McMichael. 49ers kick a field goal with Mike Cofer. Late in the second quarter, Bear quarterback Jim McMahon completes one of only 7 throws in the ball game. That's the Galt left sideline. Then on 3rd and 4, McMahon is intercepted by the youngster from Texas A&M, the cornerback Chet Brooks. Closes out the first half for a San Francisco defense top 3 in the league in total defense and passing defense. To begin the third quarter, San Francisco goes ground, but Craig loses the ball, recovered by Steve McMichael. Craig suffers his first lost fumble of the year, Mike Singletary's first forced fumble of the year, and the Chicago Bears recover and thus kick a field goal to tie the game at 3. The very next San Francisco offensive snap is a fumble by Montana. Recovered after it was jarred by Hampton. That's Sean Gale who picks it up for Chicago, and the Bears have taken a 6-3 lead for Kevin Butler's second field goal of the game. Rathman on the check down dropped the ball, Brent Jones, forced by Frazier, and the Bears get the ball back late third quarter. On play action, McMahon with plenty of protection throws to Payton, who had the first down, but he drops the ball, and Chicago is forced to punt. The next San Francisco snap in the final few moments of the third quarter is a deep ball for Montana, who is intercepted by the terrific Mike Richardson. That is Montana's 10th pick thrown this year. He has 9 touchdown tosses. The next play is a Walter Payton 64-yard dazzling run. In a topsy-turvy game, Chicago comes back down a field goal to score 13 unanswered. They lead by double digits. 4th and 3, the 49ers are forced to go for it. This would not be their only 4th down try of the game. Montana completes the pass on a wheel route to Craig to keep the 49ers comeback hopes alive. San Francisco racked up over 14 points per game. This game's 20, and throughout the regular season, they were one of the best offenses in the league, led by Montana, who is 4th in the DSFL 4 in passing. Slant route to Greer nears the first down. Then on 3rd and 7, Joe Montana throws incomplete. 49ers settle for a field goal and trim the Chicago lead to just a touchdown after an onside kick recovery by way of Emory Moorhead. The next play is a Walter Payton 37-yard touchdown run. The terrific Bear running back has a career performance. 5 runs for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns. He could have had 3 scores if one of them wasn't wiped out by way of a penalty. 20-6 Chicago. The late touchdown throw by Montana to Tom Rathman trims the Chicago lead to just 7, which means the 49ers have a chance to tie the game with an onside kick, but it's yet again recovered by Moorhead, and Chicago has advanced to the NFC Championship game. The Bears overcome a 1-3 start, winning 6 of their final 7 games going into next weekend, and they will await the victor of Green Bay and St. Louis in the other round of the conference semifinals. The San Francisco offense had 14 first downs. The Bears, ironically, only had 3, but it was just good enough to advance to the NFC Championship. They will face the winner of St. Louis and Green Bay. The Packers are the conference champions with the best record of the DSFL 4 at 7-3. They battle St. Louis, and an early flag against the Packers moves this Rams drive to the 47-yard line on just 2 snaps into the game. Marshall Faulk, the potential performer of the year. We will learn after this game the awards throughout the DSFL 4, but Warner throws incomplete on a potential touchdown throw to Williams had he thrown it on target. Then on third down, Faulk on this draw spins to the 9, but St. Louis is denied a touchdown to the red zone. The Rams kick a field goal to lead 3-0. The St. Louis Rams in 1999 were the best run defense in football. They did a number on Green Bay in the ballgame as this 13-yard sack delivered by Kevin Carter puts them out of a position to run the ball. Their bell cow Green Bay tailback Edgar Bennett had 6 carries for 19 yards for the game, an average of just over 3 yards a run. St. Louis would begin an incredible drive led by the best completion percentage quarterback in football, that being Kurt Warner. On 3rd and inches with a quick drop, he throws right away towards the left sideline to the incredible Isaac Bruce, and he picks up the first down for St. Louis. Bruce would lead the team with 4 catches for 42 yards in the game. This run by Faulk puts them inside the Green Bay 40. Then Warner on 3rd down completes a crossing pattern to Roland Williams. This was a nightmarish defensive sequence by Green Bay. The 18-yard throw to the tight end would continue a great drive for Roland Williams. The young tight end from Syracuse catches the Kurt Warner touchdown toss, and St. Louis takes a 10-0 lead. It would appear into the halftime locker room, but on the following snap for Green Bay, Favre launches a 57-yard touchdown to Robert Brooks, who had a fine season for the Packers, and we are within a field goal on the touchdown throw by Brett Favre. He did lead the league in interceptions thrown this year, but he would complete 62% of his throws for 143 yards, a touchdown, and no picks in this game. 10-7 Rams. Plenty of time for St. Louis to respond. Deep ball to Oz Hakeem puts the Rams in plus territory. 3rd and 8. Here is an inside run to Faulk. St. Louis does not use a timeout. So on 4th and 4, the Rams keep the offense out there. They'll go for it. 4 seconds to go in the half. Warner's pass is complete to Bruce, and that gives St. Louis a chance to kick a field goal, and they do, by Jeff Wilkins. He was great in the ball game, 3 for 3 on field goal tries for St. Louis, including a long of that 47 yards. 3rd and 10, early 3rd quarter. Favre rolls out and moves the chains for the Packers, who were just 2 for 6 on 3rd down for the game. His only run of the contest gains 19 for Green Bay. 3rd and 10 from the 41. Check down right is complete to the tailback, Dorsey Levens, but he is denied right away. The tackle was made by Todd Collins of St. Louis, and the Rams, up 13-7, get the football back. Warner unloads over the middle, and that throws incomplete, and thus St. Louis is forced to punt. To begin the 4th quarter, check down to the excellent Keith Jackson, veteran from Oklahoma, moves the chains for the Packers. 2nd and 10, Favre fires deep, and that throws incomplete, as the 2 signal callers would duel, both through for over 140 yards for the game. But this would be a huge turning point. Freeman loses the ball. The loose ball is recovered by Dexter McLean of St. Louis, and the Rams take over. Devin Bush jars it away from Antonio Freeman. Green Bay's offense was one of the best all year in limiting the turnovers. The only turnover committed for the game winds up being a huge difference maker. 3rd and 12 for the Rams, and Warner throws a deep ball to Ricky Prohl. His only catch of the game gains 35 yards for St. Louis. The Rams continue chewing clock. The seam route left is caught by Bruce, and St. Louis is in the red zone with under 2 minutes to go in the game. The Rams then get a quick mulligan here. Fred Miller scoops up a fumble of Marshall Faulk, but as we look at the replay, there may have been some motion shifting on that ball. Robinson forced it, and it winds up into the hands of Fred Miller, who didn't even attempt to recover the ball. He was standing up. 3rd and 7, Faulk is denied, and St. Louis takes a 2-score lead with a field goal by Wilkins. Green Bay, who went 7-3 and beat the Rams 24-21 in the regular season back in the Coliseum in LA. Their hopes of advancing to the NFC title game come down to this: 7-yard throw from Favre to Jackson gives Green Bay a 3rd down and 3. For the game, Keith Jackson had 3 catches for 28 yards. Here comes Favre from the 30. He throws in the flat, and that's a 1st down completion to Derek Mays. Rookie from Notre Dame gives Green Bay a 1st and 10. A minute to go in the contest. Favre to Jackson yet again. Green Bay on 3rd and inches after a spike football. Favre goes deep instead of finding a 1st down completion underneath. That's incomplete, deflected by Morton. And on 4th and inches, this run is denied. Bennett is sent backwards by way of Mike Morton. And Green Bay's hopes of advancing have come to an end. St. Louis as the 4 seed, needing a win against Seattle in the final week of the regular season. They have stunned the Green Bay Packers 16-7. The Packers racked up over 14 points per game. They were the 2nd highest scoring offense in the DSFL 4. The only offense better in terms of points for the St. Louis Rams, who are on their way to the NFC Championship game and will visit the 1985 Chicago Bears. The Bears and the Rams meet the NFC Championship. It's the same matchup we saw in the NFC title game of the Dream Season Football League 1. And these two teams will meet for all the marbles. The 99 Rams and the 85 Bears at Soldier Field in Chicago is the matchup of next week's NFC Championship game. There were some incredible performances throughout the DSFL 4, and here is a look across all the different awards throughout this season. The Performer of the Year has been listed as St. Louis tailback Marshall Faulk. He had an unreal year for the St. Louis Rams, and he did average over 5 yards a run, 10 carries for 52 yards in St. Louis's NFC semifinal victory over the Green Bay Packers. Now, the remainder of the awards you can see here. You can also see on Facebook, where we have been posting throughout the year the DSFL 4 all-time teams. This is the awards. Now let's head back to the highlights. Now as we transition to the AFC, the conference semifinals, Pittsburgh needed a win at New England along with a Kansas City loss in Week 10, the final week of the year, to just make the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Broncos at 6-4 are locked up in the 2 seed, and with their victory in Week 4 against the Steelers 21-16, they rematch with a trip to the AFC Championship in the balance. Snow flurries expected throughout this contest, a far cry to the conditions back in Week 4. Elway throws for 31 yards of the ball game, 25. His longest completion was on this play to Shannon Sharp. That'll put the Broncos in plus territory. This 12-yard run for Davis puts them in field goal range. But after Elway goes down, Bubby Brister assumes the role at quarterback for the remainder of the first half. Denver's offense, as a result, was 2 for 6 today against Pittsburgh, and they had no 3rd down conversions in Week 4, so they were 2 for 8 in 8 quarters against the Steelers this year. After the go-ahead field goal by Elam, Pittsburgh begins their first drive of the ball game with a 4-yard run for Rocky Bleier, and he is ripped down by way of the face mask. Trevor Price, the youngster from Michigan, gives the Steelers an extra 15 yards, but for a Pittsburgh offense who struggled throughout the game. Just 35 yards rushing the entire contest. He's denied for a loss. But on 3rd and 13, Bradshaw launches a 51-yard go-ahead touchdown to John Stallworth. The veteran from Alabama A&M gives the Steelers a 7-6 lead at the half. First possession, 3rd quarter, Bradshaw gunslinging fires an 8-yard completion to Grossman, who had 3 catches of the ball game. Then this inside run moves the chains for 7 to Harris. But on the following play, if the throw from Bradshaw is intercepted by Steve Atwater, the veteran safety from Arkansas gives Denver the football. Then after a Broncos 3-and-out and another Bradshaw interception, the Steelers' defense has been pushed to the brink yet again to begin the 4th quarter. This game, Denver sets up shop inside the Steeler 40. Elway throws a 12-yard completion to Ed McCaffrey, who struggled to the ball game, but this flag eliminates that 1st down completion on a hole by Mark Schlereth. 2nd and 14. Davis is smacked backwards by Banaszak. So on 3rd and 17, John Elway uses his legs to try and pick up the 1st down himself. He gains 9. He has 10 runs for 45 yards this year, but that'll set up Elam with a 49-yard field goal, and it's good. And despite being in the snow, he was 3 for 3 in the ballgame, 17 for 18 to lead the league in field goal percentage this year. 3rd and 10, Bradshaw dumps it short. Despite the Steelers being 4 for 6 on 3rd down of the ball game, he is denied as Franco Harris a yard short. Steelers cross fingers, they make the stop. Griffith had 1 run the entire year and moves the chains on a gain of 7 for Denver. 2 minutes to go in the game. A first down puts the Broncos in the AFC Championship. 2nd and 4. Here's a run for Davis. He slips through a tackle. First down, Denver. The Broncos are moving on with a victory over Pittsburgh. And just to put icing on the cake, Terrell Davis, who has now over 800 yards all-purpose this year, he may have over 1,000 by the time the season is complete. He gains yet another first down run for the Broncos. Denver amassed over 100 yards rushing in the ball game. They had over 2.5 more minutes time of possession. It was a controlling effort for Mike Shanahan of the Broncos, who are on to the AFC Championship, awaiting the victor of Baltimore or New England. Terry Bradshaw throws 14 interceptions this season in a Denver victory at home over Pittsburgh, 9-7. The Patriots started the season 6-1, but have then suffered 3 straight losses by a total of 24 points. New England, however, is the top seed in the AFC and battles the 4-6 Colts at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. After a scoreless first quarter, Brady off play action fires a big strike to Benjamin Watson, who finished the regular season 3rd in the league among tight ends in receiving yards, just behind Denver's Shannon Sharp and Baltimore's John Mackey. Then on 3rd and 10, Brady's throw is incomplete. Mike Curtis knocks it away with the Patriots' hold on Logan Mankins, and thus New England is forced to punt. Under 3 minutes to go in the half, Morrill throws an interception to Junior Seau, his first of 2 in the ballgame, and the Patriots take over and would take full advantage. Less than 2 minutes into this drive, Lawrence Maroney scores his 3rd touchdown of the season. Those are video game numbers for the second-year man out of Minnesota. Patriots at the half lead 7-0. Mate's denied on the first third-quarter run of the game. Then, on 2nd down and 11, Mate turns the corner around the right sideline, breaks a tackle of Rodney Harrison, and he's loose to the 50 before finally getting lassoed by Asante Samuel after a 50-yard gain. Incredible run from Mate. He had just under 4 yards a run in 1968. He has had over 5 yards a run this year. Preston Pearson, second-year man from Illinois, is denied at the 9-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 8. Morrill goes to the air, and his pass swinging right is complete to Preston, but Baltimore is denied in the red zone. Patriots opponents have 4 touchdowns on 18 trips inside the red zone this year. The New England red zone defense has been really unstoppable. 1st and 10, Brady fires left sideline to Moss, and that'll move the chains on a 13-yard completion. Moss struggled in this game but makes a big catch. Maroney continues his excellent performance against the Baltimore defense, which led the league in yards per game allowed in the regular season. 1st and 10, Brady is sacked. And now the Patriots are in a big spot here after the sack from Bubba Smith, but they quickly get out of it with a huge throw from Brady to Benjamin Watson. That's a gain of 18 yards for the 4-year pro from Georgia. Lawrence Maroney then bowls his way ahead. He has some speed but shows some power inside. 3rd and goal. Falk is hit and stopped by Bubba Smith. The second-year man from Michigan State makes two big plays for the Colts, and Baltimore forces a New England field goal from Stephen Gostkowski. Now, the Colts were the 4th best passing game in football at over 153 yards per game in the DSFL 4. That unit will be put to the test. Morrill led the league in completions this year. 2nd and 5 for Baltimore at their own 48-yard line. Morrill on a tightrope throws wide outside the reach of Jimmy Orr, who is his favorite target throughout the DSFL 4 year, but he quickly comes back and makes a big throw out towards Orr on a deep in cut. First down for Baltimore, and Jimmy Orr this time Jimmy Orr makes the catch yet again. He had 3 receptions of the ball game, and that sets up the Colts at the 29-yard line. This dump down to Tom Mate nears the first down, but then he loses the ball, recovered by the Patriots, and New England, if this flag is against the Colts, will win the game. And indeed, Baltimore's Dan Sullivan commits the hold, and the Patriots will be moving on to the AFC Championship. Pierre Woods stacked up Mate on that play, then Bruschi ripped it away from Mate, and the Patriots, despite Mate having an incredible year, they'll win the game over Baltimore 10-3 and will play host to the Denver Broncos in the AFC Championship game. The Patriots have beaten the Colts in 2 straight meetings, the first in Maryland and the second here in Massachusetts by the final of 10-3. The Patriots play the Broncos in the AFC Championship.